am Lindsay Woods with Cascade Creative Group, and I'm so excited to welcome Bobby Bainey from Think Big, Go Local today. As you know, this week's Tip Tuesday was all about Facebook, and I've invited Bobby on because Bobby is the expert in this realm on how to use Facebook to grow your business, what's working on Facebook, and also how to use messenger apps or bots to engage with your ideal customer. How are you doing today, Bobby?
I am fabulous, Lindsay. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on. So let's get started with everyone seems to be talking, well, Facebook's on the way out. And as many users as Facebook has and as many people are participating in groups, kind of find that one hard to believe.
Yeah, you know what? I don't believe it either. I think we've been hearing that for a really long time, but this last year, especially with what we've gone through, Facebook is shown record usage. So they're definitely not going anywhere. They've rolled out so many new features to help businesses engage an audience and, connect and create and all of those things. So I don't think Facebook's really going anywhere. Now, government regulation could be coming, which I think is a whole different issue than really what we're talking about. But I was just reading an article today. It was about, do consumers really buy from social media? And I jumped right in there to see, do they really? And Facebook is still, of all the people that they interviewed, the number one place where people are buying products and services from. So it's still pretty relevant. It's beating out all the other platforms. So I don't think we can chalk it off just yet.
Me either. I mean, I know there's going to be some changes coming with ads, but I get such great targeted ads, which I guess you could say that's good or bad, but it makes it so simple just to one click through to what I'm looking for. Facebook groups. So you have a great Facebook group and you actually run a weekly show on it. Can you talk about why someone who's looking at Facebook should consider starting a group for their brand?
Absolutely. And can I jump back to your comment about ads real quick, and then we'll talk about groups? Totally. I just want to say that I feel like even as marketers and experts in this field, that this battle between Facebook and Apple has created all this hype that, in all honesty, I don't know is going to affect the majority of businesses. Maybe some of those big businesses dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars a month into ad campaigns. I don't think the rest of us need to panic just yet. So just want to kind of throw that out there. But as far as groups, I will tell you, Mark Zuckerberg said a while back that the future of Facebook was private. And when he said that, he was referring to groups and Facebook Messenger, especially because originally the intent of Facebook was to bring together like-minded individuals, right? In a way that you could share things, and collaborate on things. And we've really moved kind of past that as Facebook's grown so much. But the reality is, as all the crazy things that have happened to Facebook over the past couple of years with political elections and government, wanting to kind of get their fingers in it, he's kind of gone back to that. And last year, when the Super Bowl was on, this so sticks in my mind that all Facebook was promoting were Facebook groups. And when you see Facebook saying, hey, this is where we want you to be, I think it's a pretty strong indicator to us as businesses that we need to kind of figure out what's our big brand look like on our pages, but how do we bring select people in for a really individualized experience into groups? And I think every business needs to think about that in a strategic way. Don't make a group thinking it's like your page, because it's not. It needs to have a really unique purpose, and it needs to have, a really targeted types of interactions. Like, what are people coming there for? What are you offering to them? What do they know, that they're going to get when they show up? And it's really, really a powerful way to engage an audience. No doubt.
I would totally agree with that. And a lot of the Facebook groups that I participate in are smaller businesses. And they invite you, and you have the option, obviously, to accept. But for those who accept, there are specials. There are sneak peeks of spring lines. There are all these different things that, as a user, make me feel good. I mean, it makes me feel like I'm part of something a little exclusive.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we do in our group too. Like the whole purpose of our group is to just offer up social media tips and tools and techniques as we learn them, new things that are going on, things we've been testing, guests that we're bringing on that are experts in a particular space. And that's really all that we do there. We don't step out of that box because I know the groups I'm in, I go in knowing exactly what I'm looking for. Is it a recipe? Is it your VIP offer? Is it that behind the scenes stuff that you're going to share with me there and not share somewhere else? And so I think businesses just need to be pretty cautious about what they do in their groups. And if you do it well, it's a really good opportunity to bring in new audience members, have people refer, and they see more of your content. Nobody sees anything on your business page, but they will see more things if they engage with you in a group. So it's a great strategy that way too.
So I'm hearing you say you need to be intentional in what you're putting into your group, and you need to be selective of, making sure that you're inviting the right people into your group. Now, what you just said, I think a lot of people aren't aware of that. Not being seen on the business page and it being seen in my feed on the group. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I don't know the exact stats, but people, the experts are usually throwing out that when you have a business page and you create a piece of content, 4 to 6% of your audience is going to see it, which just flat out really stinks because all the people on your page have chosen to follow you there. Yet Facebook has a model that they need to generate revenue, and they do that through advertising. So while we get a free platform for our business, they want businesses to engage in the paid advertising opportunities, right? So they're going to make you pay for that reach and that visibility. The people that are going to see your content are most likely the people that have been really loyal followers. And as much as this stinks, it's probably your mom, your cousin, like a lot of those people make up part of that 4 and 6% too. But in groups, it's a little bit different. They know that groups are structured for like-minded individuals, so they show more of your content to the people in the group, especially if you have a good strategy and you get people engaged as they join. You ask them questions, you welcome them, you encourage their responses, things that are going to make them engage with that group right out of the gate. They're then going to see more things. Notifications, there's more options for notifications in groups. They're opening up new tools in groups all the time. I just saw a new one last week where I think users in a group can create a Q&A with other group members, kind of like group moderators used to do. And they're doing this all the time because they want people to set these up, really engage your members. And so they're giving you all the tools to do that.
So you mentioned engagement. So let's talk about one of the things that I love to hear you talk about. Communicating with your audience and engaging with your audience through Messenger. And what are some of the tips and tricks you use to grow your audience through Messenger?
Yeah, so Messenger has been super exciting to me for a few years. We partnered with ManyChat about 3 years ago. So ManyChat builds Facebook Messenger bots. And I only want to, and I'll kind of circle around to that, but I want to say that it's been a few years because we were one of the first classes to attend ManyChat's first conference and educational seminars and all of those things. So we've been excited about it for a while. But one of the things that was exciting back then is we knew that Facebook was working on making Messenger a standalone platform. So obviously we've all known it as part of Facebook, and you had to have a Facebook account, and then that was how you sent messages. And then if you had Instagram had their own platform, WhatsApp had their own thing, and all of the Facebook family kind of did their own independent messaging. But we knew that they were working on bringing all of the Facebook family of apps into one place, which was going to be Messenger. And you weren't going to have an account in order to have Messenger. It was going to stand alone. So now, a few years later, all of these things are starting to happen. So Messenger is its own app now. As most people who engage in social media know, you can now go into Messenger from Facebook, and right there is Instagram. They just announced a couple weeks ago that they're really finalizing that merger between Messenger for those different apps. Here comes my dog, all excited about something. If you hear some tapping, he's showing up. And so knowing that they were doing all of that, this is going to be the platform where everything is going to take place. So anyone who's a little familiar with social media in China, for example, they have a platform, isn't it called, what's it called? WeChat? Is it WeChat?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
Huge.
And You do everything through there. You're banking, you buy houses, you communicate with people, you send them files, you send them money. That's kind of the model that Facebook has kind of been going towards. So we were all in knowing that how huge that was going to be. And one of the reasons I don't think Facebook's really going anywhere. And we started learning how to build bots. So a bot is really just an automation. I feel like it's gotten a really bad name. So we like to kind of call it chat marketing now, or messenger marketing, because I think people think of bots as something fake. And in a lot of places it is. But in Messenger, it's one place that I'll tell you, Facebook has made sure that marketers don't get to destroy this, because it is very invasive and you're going into somebody's Messenger app, which is kind of like getting into your text messaging, right? And as marketers, we ruin that stuff as fast as we possibly can, you know, but Facebook has made sure that the rules around these messenger bots and messenger marketing are incredibly strict. The thing that's really amazing about it is you can create such a great experience for your audience in so many different ways. So one of the ways, my favorite way that we've used it over the past couple of years is we have a client that has a seasonal business, and for 6 weeks, they serve like 15,000 people a day. It's insane. Wow. And all of these people are sending messages before they head out to this place. Can we bring our dog? What if it rains? All of these things. And we were able to build an automation that went through every question that's been asked for the last couple of years, set up responses to keywords. And now we don't have to answer any of those questions when everyone's getting ready to head out, you know, to this location. And they get their answer like this, because studies have proven people want a response. They want the answer more than they're worried about talking to a human being. If an automation can answer the question, they're going to get in the car, load up the dog, and head out, because they now know what's going on and they got a quick response. So that's only one way we've been using it, and it's making our customers money. It's making their audience and their future customers happy because they're getting an answer. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg for these things. If you're doing any kind of programming, events, you can use that wealth of knowledge that Facebook has in their ad platform to serve a really phenomenal message to somebody in Messenger that's going to see much better conversion. I mean, you can't not look at Messenger. It's like ignoring a text message. It's pretty hard to do. You might not love it, but you're going to go in there and you're going to look at it. And the response rates we've been seeing for our bots, it's insane. I mean, sometimes we're seeing over 95% read rates, you know, and click rates that blow away anything you would do in email or text messaging. So really powerful stuff.
Because it's instantaneous. I mean, I asked the question, I need to get an answer and then a link to go somewhere else. Whereas if we were doing it old school, you know, I'd ask the question, you and I are in different time zones. So you may be done for the day and checked out. And, you know, I ask my question and then I have to wait until the next morning for someone to give me an answer. So that totally makes sense, because we want it when we want it.
Yes, we do. We're a very impatient race these days, no doubt about it. And yeah, and they're great. And, you know, you can now put, which you have been for a while, you can put that chatbot on your website. So if someone gets on your website and then has a question, it takes them right into Messenger. You know, there's a lot of chat features. And if you're a big brand and you've got a whole bunch of customer service people on the other side of that chat box, awesome. But if you're not, and you're a small business, now you've got, you know, where is that chat going to? How are you actually responding? Where we all have Messenger on our phone. We're all paying attention to it because we're business owners. So it's a pretty cool space to even integrate to your website, so you can have that opportunity and really play with the big boys with chat marketing in a way that gives people the chance to get a hold of you right away.
And I mean, who doesn't want to work smarter and not harder?
Yes. Yes.
The one you use is called ManyChat. Is that right?
Yes, we use ManyChat.
Okay. Awesome.
And there's multiples out there. ManyChat has done such a good job of raising capital, hiring on, making the right partnerships. In my opinion, they're absolutely the best, and that's why we chose to work with them.
Awesome. Well, that is all great stuff to know. This really rounds out our Facebook conversation. Is there anything else that you would like to add for people who are curious about Facebook?
You know, no, I would just say, don't listen to the things that you hear out there all the time. There's opinions from everybody. It's kind of like when someone tells you what works on Google. Google, Facebook, none of them actually tell us what actually works, or we'd all be doing the same darn thing. So don't give up on Facebook. There are so many great opportunities there still. And, test your audience. Like, really, don't just make your decisions based on what you're hearing, because there's so many people using Facebook on a daily basis. It's hard. You got to stand out. None of this stuff is easy anymore. It's all crowded. But if you're committed and you're intentional with your strategies and you show up and you're consistent, it's still a phenomenal space to promote your business.
Well, thank you so much, Bobbi, for all the knowledge that you have shared. And stay tuned. Next week, our social media platform that we will be exploring is LinkedIn, and it's not dead yet either.
Not at all.
Okay.
All right.